Okay, are we live? Excuse me. But good morning to everybody. This is your favorite, okay, real Asian robot. The People's Champ is here. And I received a request from RonnyPsy to actually discuss the State of Dauntless seasonal abilities and factions and give my opinion on it. So here we go. First, I'm going to start by taking a nice long drink of this hot chocolate that I got. Now, before we begin, let me just say, I hear your concerns. I hear you. All right. We in the dumb squad hear you. We know that the feelings are a little bit bullshit. That the faction skill trees will be leaving, and corresponding abilities will be deactivated. And first of all, what we want to state is that we're not standing up for Dauntless when I say this, but we actually already knew that this was coming. We literally knew that these were going to be temporary because they were called seasonal abilities in multiple instances. So we already knew that they were going to be temporary. I saw that there was a lot of concern about people having spent a lot of time farming them, but the thing is, I mean, if you were playing the game, natural progression in the game would have just helped you progress through either tree. It sucks more for the newer players who probably weren't heavily involved in both seasons, but it is the way it is. It might give us a feeling of hopelessness and pointlessness to say maybe somebody joining now and they just bought the hunt pass and maybe they're gonna want to try and level their trees. Thing is, that's kind of the way it is. Sometimes things just last for a season and you have to let it go. So let's read what they actually said. So before we talk about it a little more, they stated in the original plan, when we set out to make Infinite Radiance, we wanted to add seasonal abilities that played into the fantasy of various timelines intersecting in the Shattered Isles. The idea was to create an exciting moment in Dauntless that worked within the seasonal story we were telling. On the design scale of things, we wanted to see what seasonal abilities would feel like in Dauntless. The goal was to provide a fun progression reward within Infinite Radiance itself. This was also a great opportunity for us to explore unique abilities without altering the balance of Dauntless forever. It provided a space for players to experiment with their builds and try new things. In the end, these seasonal talent trees worked toward these goals, and we learned a lot. Design lessons. First up, we learned that these abilities shouldn't negate the power of the new behemoths. We don't want these abilities to disable what makes new encounters unique, but rather we want the abilities to add to them. Whatever shape a seasonal ability takes, it should interact with the new encounters in interesting ways. With the case of the drone's ability, it actually worked against the design of the Elder Behemoth shields. The AoE damage was negated. We ended up patching this ability so it worked in these battles. Whatever seasonal abilities we add in the future needs to work hand in hand with these new encounters. Synergy is the key. Another lesson we learned was to communicate the seasonal ability timeline early. Ideally, the communication around the limited availability of these abilities should be in advance. We're rolling out communication now around the end date, but in future, this time frame should be upfront. We apologize for this lapse in clarity, and we hope this news doesn't come as a complete surprise. For those that were paying attention, it shouldn't. But I understand you. Listen, again, not trying to stand up for them, and we in the Dumb Squad hear you. Believe me when I say that this calm way that I'm taking it has absolutely nothing to do with how I feel about it. Cause fuck, I like the future pathway. That was my thing. I advocated for it in almost every build that I made. But here we are. So the way I'm gonna take it is that, look, there's an Omnicell rework coming. Builds are gonna all have to be reworked. As soon as the live update drops, you can be sure that the Dumb Squad and myself are gonna be working overtime to test all sorts of builds, to test all sorts of abilities, to see what we can do in the new season, to see what is going to work for you right from the get-go. And we're going to make sure that happens. All right? Because for us, our commitment to the Dauntless community is such that we will make sure you have whatever you need to have as soon as possible. We do not rest. We do not take breaks. No. It's 24/7 endeavor. There is no rest except on Sundays. Only because, I'm a family man. Obviously, I need Sundays off. But the point is, there is no rest. There is no respite. We're going to be working. Okay? So just know that. Let's take a look. The future of seasonal abilities. The heroes of Ostia season will not have seasonal abilities. This doesn't mean that we won't do it again in future. In fact, we want to. By putting seasonal abilities aside for now, we'll be able to focus solely on Omnicells. We'll see how they impact the meta on their own. As for Perfect Strike and Friend Forever abilities, we're currently taking our favorite parts and asking ourselves if they can be their own Omnicell. This brief window gives us a lot of insight into their design. After taking in feedback and data, it's clear that they provided interesting builds and twists in combat. We will continue to discuss this, so don't be surprised if you see these abilities return in some form or another. All right. Also, the comments made by Phoenix Lab employees, which I think is important to address, is that just although it's without context, I think you can understand just by reading. The goal was to add something to unlock and progress during a specific window of time. This would give players a goal and something to play with. The mistake was not communicating this early. That's our bad. They wanted to add some variety for this season alone, and it let us experiment during the time window. Basically, their main failing was the lack of communication. They're going to try and do that more often. Seasonal pets is a wacky idea. They definitely missed the mark a bit with Elder and Primals. You should give our last State of Dauntless a read. It's all about them. Find that in the left in the collection. Droney was a stand-up pal, So, yeah, basically, if you guys want to read the comments, you can yourself. I'm actually going to go now. All right, so I'm going to close this window right now. We're going to go into Dauntless itself, and we're going to read the mail that was sent out in Dauntless to also further discuss this issue. Now, again, I'll say it very clearly. We have known about this. We are aware. We were fully aware, to be fair. We always knew it would be temporary. But again, myself and the Dumb Squad, we function on a very, I don't even know how to pronounce the term. I know what it's written as, laissez-faire kind of attitude. We have a very c'est la vie kind of thing. When stuff happens is when we will address it. We, unlike a lot of others, do not do things in advance. And the reason is because changes are always happening. Things are always altering, changing, this, that, the other. We never look at just one thing. We look at it when it drops as a whole, which I think is very important to us. And it's something that we very often do. So, don't worry. We will have it addressed ASAP. As soon as the change happens, you can bet there's going to be videos, there's going to be updates. All right? So, stay frosty, stay cool. Now, let's talk about this Omnicells talent tree, whatever. Okay, I'm going to remove my cam for a second. Now, let's talk about this. In 1.7.0, Omnicells enter. Okay? So you guys have known about this. They've been talking about testing. Yeah, it's been left, right, center. Everybody's been discussing it. Basically, Omnicells are going to be a new craftable gear that will provide a wide range of build options to let you strategize around your preferred playstyle, as well as plan for specific encounters. To further balance combat with the launch of Omnicells, we've changed the number of other cells and increased attack speed for each weapon. Every weapon's going to get attack speed increase. Hell yeah, this means your WoW Frenzy and such may not be as necessary. Omnicells are imbued with both a passive effect and active effect. If you have an Omnicell equipped, you can trigger the active effect by tapping your lantern button. Alright, we have plans to launch more Omnicells in future, so be on the lookout for additional info down the line. Now, what are the Omnicells that are coming? Bastion. Increase all incoming shields. Dealing damage has a chance to grant a stacking health shield. So, from now on, Skarns is not gonna be absolutely necessary. You're gonna have Bastion instead. Leap forward and slam the ground, consuming all shields in a blast of energy that deals damage to nearby targets relative to the amount of shields consumed. Alright, so basically, you're gonna get a chance to wreck somebody's shit by either stacking your shields or consuming all of that to destroy shit. Iceborne. Increase max health. Grants lifesteal and reduced damage. Alright? Taking damage reduces the cooldown of its active ability. That's a very interesting one. Active. Throw an ice lance that does frost damage. Deals double damage if thrown at full health. Grants ice armor, providing additional lifesteal and prevents you from being staggered. This is fucking cool, baby. Discipline. Critical strike chance and damage increased. Incoming health is reduced. Incoming healing is reduced. Reaching max stacks of Flaming Fist makes you disciplined, increasing your critical strike chance by a large amount for a period of time, but also increases the damage received. When discipline ends, stacks are cleared. Active. Perform a quick parrying punch that deals blaze damage. Parrying an attack does extra damage and grants a stack of Flaming Fist, giving additional critical strike damage. This can stack 4 times. They are removing the regular Iceborne and Discipline cells, and if you own at least one of these cells, you'll be compensated with the Omnicell version. You will also receive 150 steel marks back for each Discipline cell you've crafted. Additionally, we'll refund both the Aetherheart and Ram's cost of any Power Surge gear you had whose perk was changed. We will also refund you if significant changes were made to your Power Surge gear. Okay? You can unlock Bastion and Iceborne via the Slayer's Path, and the Discipline Omnicell recipe is available at the Lucky Break store. All Omnicells are craftable via the middleman. Now, what does that mean? What does all that mean? Ladies and gents, it means we're going to be building hardcore. Y'all want that defensive play? Well, that's what we're going to specialize in. Guaranteed. Why? Because we are for the people. We are here for the people. We know what you want. When it comes to our tenacious builds, Bastion is going to be the key. When it comes to wanting that lifesteal and reduced damage, and also to throw a Frost Lance a la the Necromancer from Diablo, which is going to be really super fucking interesting, Iceborne is going to be key to that, and maybe we can do something in that regard, you know? Discipline is going to be a very interesting one. We're probably going to pair this with a lot of Parasitic to reduce damage, to get the most out of lifesteal, Parasitic toughness. But this is going to come with like maybe additional damage here and there. We've got a lot of ideas going on about this, but we're actually going to discuss it when it happens. So keep in mind that builds are going to be very fluid and flexible, but we're definitely, like I said, we are 300% committed. On the day that it drops, July 8th, is it? Double checking. Yeah. Yes, July 8th. On July 8th, we will set the time aside. We will be ready. And we are going to make this shit happen. Builds will be tested. Things will be reforged, reformed constantly. We're going to be ready. We're going to be prepared. We're going to be there to ensure that you get the best as soon as it drops. So how do I feel about the State of Dauntless in conclusion? What I'll say is I think it's going in a very fucking interesting direction. All right, we're going to clear out all this meta shit. And we're going to introduce a new meta. Going to introduce new best builds. Because think about it. The discipline, for example, right? You can take additional damage. That's going to be crazy. But the active is a quick parrying punch that deals blaze damage. That could be the key to builds that stack nothing but raw damage. You can't take a single hit. Whoa, parry. It's going to be very fucking cool. So look forward to it. We're going to have a great time. And we're going to defeat our enemies very soon. Now, assuming they don't change Tenacious, though, Bastion is probably going to be amazing. But yes, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming. Look forward to it. It's going to be absolutely interesting. All right, so thank you for listening to this little discussion. The People's Champ is going to go test some builds right now. If you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, you can drop a tip to support me via the tip link in the description of the video. And we're also YouTube partners as of today. So thank you so much if you decide to watch ads and contribute to my revenue. It is absolutely wonderful if you do that. Thank you so much for feeding my family. Thank you so much for enjoying my content. Asian Robot, out.